All right, and so let's start this morning. Make sure you have a comfortable seat. If your seat isn't comfortable, I would invite you to go ahead and lay down. Get yourself comfortable. I think we'll start with a little bit longer of a centering meditation practice, just so that we can maybe work through whatever's going on in the headspace, let it move through and even out of us a little bit before we start moving. So ensure that you're comfy. Your legs never have to be crossed if you do choose your seat. But truly, if your back body is calling, please attend and listen to that ease that the body desires. Wherever you're at, you might close your eyes or at least gentle them halfway closed. Your head can move a bit side to side or find half neck rolls. Maybe your spine all the way down, wiggle side to side, just loosening up a little before you find your stillness. When you find where you want to settle, just soften your forehead and your cheeks. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, just falling down and away from your ears. Of course, your core is engaged so that it holds the back body up. But let's see this morning if there can be softness in that belly as well. And softness all the way down, like through the pelvic floor. Letting your knees drop towards the earth a little bit. And it sounds like several of us have stuff going on, whether that's frustration or sadness. There's something on your plate that is causing distress. As part of this practice this morning, I'm going to invite you to go into that distress, but we'll do it in a way that is strategic, knowing that if at any point it becomes too much, it's okay for you to remove yourself from it, to distract yourself, to even open your eyes or wiggle around, to get out of it if needed. Most of us, we really do try to avoid emotion. We try to ignore it or push it down, tell ourselves it's not that big of a deal, just get over it. But what we know is that is, actually it's incredibly harmful. And that as much as we try to push it down, it eventually comes back up. But in the pushing down process, we actually store it in our body. So before we move into the emotion, let's ground ourselves, connect with our breath. Let your belly fill with your inhale. Let it empty with your exhale. And to ensure that our breath will be our grounding reference, let's add a count to it so that we'll exhale, let our breath go all the way out. And then inhale to the count of 4, slow 4. Pause and exhale to the count of 4. Inhaling, pausing, and it can be to the count of 4. Exhaling, pausing at the bottom of the breath. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause, inhale, pausing, exhaling. Just keep moving with that breath. I imagine that I'm drawing a square as I'm doing that 4 count breath. The inhale is one side, the pause is the top, the exhale is the other side, and the pause at the bottom draws that bottom line for me. So your body is going to keep breathing. And anytime you need, you're going to come right back to that breath. If that doesn't work, you're going to open your eyes or wiggle around. But get out of this emotion if needed. So to start this, we're going to ask ourselves, what is it that we're struggling with today? What are you experiencing? What does that experience look like? Is it conflict with somebody? Is it the loss of somebody? Is it jumping through all the loops or the hoops in something? Identify what the struggle is. And then identify what it feels like. Is there any specific emotion that it triggers? And you might not label the emotion. You might not even be able to. Sometimes things are so big or so complicated that there's not just one or even two things. That's just a big mess of yuck. And that's okay. Notice what that yuck then feels like in the body. Where do you feel this stuff? Does it create tension in the shoulders or heaviness in the heart? Where in your body do you feel your experience? What is this experience? What's it make you think? Does it trigger certain thoughts or belief systems? Let yourself experience this. You're being with yourself, stepping into your emotion or your experience rather than avoiding. Recognizing, truly recognizing what's going on for you. Whatever that experience is, can you allow it to be here? To accept it as it is. And remember, acceptance is different than resignation. Resignation is like defeat. Acceptance is just this awareness of things as they are, and a trust or a faith in our own selves to be able to move through this. So can you allow it? Can you accept it? As you continue to sit with this experience, there might be something you notice that it seems to be like the worst part about this experience. Something that just keeps running through your head or tapping on your shoulder and says like, hey, this sucks, this is terrible. What is it about this that is so tough? And in that toughness, is there something that you can tell yourself or remind yourself of so that you can just provide a bit of nurture to that being of yours, an encouragement, something that lets you know that you'll be okay. Know that you have to get over it. Not that it goes away. Maybe there's just something inside of you that knows that no matter what you encounter, there's this sense of strength or peace within you. Maybe it's your breath. There's this place where you can come back to. And even just for a moment, remind yourself that you're okay. wherever your awareness is. Let's all bring awareness back to breath. Finding that 4-count breath again. So emptying all the way out. Inhaling to the count of 4. Pausing. And exhaling. You'll inhale. And exhale. Keeping your eyes closed. Let's bring our hands out and down beside us, our palms up. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen your spine. Take a nice big breath. And with an inhale, we'll let our arms lift to the ceiling. Your exhale will turn your palms down, float your hands down, and tuck your chin down. Inhaling, arms lift, and your throat can open. Exhaling, arms float down, chin tucks down. Inhaling to lift, and exhaling to lower. Do one more breath, nice and long with the torso. Exhaling to lower. Tuck your chin all the way to your chest. Use an inhale to roll the right ear up and over to the right shoulder. And exhale to roll your chin to your chest. Inhale, left ear rolls up and over to left shoulder. Exhale, chin rolls to the chest. Back to the right. Go from side to side a few times. If you want to move faster, of course, just breathe a little faster. When we meet, we're going to meet chin tucked to the chest. Your inhale will bring your head to center. And if you can roll around and get onto your hands and knees with your eyes closed, let's do that. If you need to open eyes, open them, but close them when you make it to all fours. Just so you can stay really connected to what you're experiencing inwardly. Good. Your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders, your knees right under your hips. Reach forward with the crown of your head. Pull the belly button and the solar plexus in. And then let's let our chest drop down between our arm bones. Keep the rest of your spine neutral. Your chest will lift back up and it'll lower. And we know this one, we're just letting our shoulder blades slide on the back body as we go up and down. Sometimes there's like creaky, grindy noises. That's just an indication that there's maybe some stickiness in your connective tissue. Good, come back to neutral, stabilize your spine, and then let just the pelvis rotate. So your tailbone will tuck between your legs, and then your tailbone will lift up and it'll reach towards your ceiling. Tailbone tucks between the legs. It reaches up for your ceiling. Couple more times, just back and forth. Meeting at neutral, take a breath in. With your exhale, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin, push through your arms and arch your back. Inhaling, tailbone lifts, throat, collarbone. Back and forth, toeing. Next time you're at neutral, pause. Your core is engaged. Just gonna pull your right hip towards your right shoulder, coming back to the middle. Left hip, left shoulder, back to the middle. To the right again, go side to side. And we'll meet back at the middle, our knees moving apart a bit so we can send our butt back towards the heels. Either bringing forehead towards the earth or stacking our fists or our forearms. We'll meet in child's pose. Soft face, soft shoulders. Find the breath again. Inhaling to the count of 4, pausing to the count of 4. Exhaling to the count of 4. You have the pause at the bottom of your breath. And you inhale to the count of 4. Pause. And exhale. Inhaling. Pausing. And exhaling. One more breath. If our hands are wrapped around our legs, we'll bring them forward. Using an inhale, come on back to tabletop. Let's step forward with our hands, just so that we can come forward and open our hips like a low plank. Take a breath in. With your exhale, send your hips back, close them up like you're going back to child's pose. Inhaling forward, hips are open. Exhaling back, hips are closed. Keep going. You're choosing your pace based on your breath. Awesome. Next time you're back, let's stay back for a minute. Use your arms, your hands to push your butt way back. Your ears might even be up between your upper arms, and you may choose to come to your fingertips. Lift and lower the armpits a couple times. Good, we'll keep our armpits up, then walk our hands, our arms, our torso towards the right, just as far as your body allows. Press down through your left butt, so you're keeping that sits bone as close to your heel as you can. Nice length in that left side body. Take a breath in. Exhale to walk yourself back to the center. Take a breath in at the center. Exhale, walk yourself to the left. Push your right butt towards your heel and let that right side of your torso be nice and long. Inhale. Exhale to come back to the center. Use your inhale, come back up to tabletop. Nice, let's get our knees under our hips. If they're not, we'll move to the back of our legs for a sec. So tuck those toes. Your core is engaged. Breath in, breath out. Get your knees and your hips up and back so you can pedal the feet. Nice big breaths. Maybe you're drawing that square in your head space with your breath. And if you feel like a leg needs to lift and stretch towards the ceiling, you're definitely doing that. Maybe you're stacking the hips. Just taking a sec, making sure our body gets a little bit of length. We're gonna go back to the shoulders for a little bit, but We want our lower body to also know that we hear it. Good, one more breath. Another inhale and an exhale to bend the knees. Come on back to all fours. Awesome. Once we're on all fours, we'll get our right arm up and out to the side. Take our breath in. Use an exhale to weave that arm behind the left. Let's hover down here in this twist. And then inhale, unweave, come up, stack your shoulders. Maybe your top arm reaches to the ceiling. Your exhale will bring yourself back down, weave behind and hover. Inhaling to lift up, stack those shoulders. Exhale, bring it down, hover for a sec. Take an extra breath in, then use your exhale to drop your shoulder and drop your right cheek to your mat. Your left arm might stay put, it might stretch out in front of you. Yeah, maybe it lifts to the ceiling, wherever you want it. But you're down here and thread the needle. Nice big breaths. Letting those shoulder blades just slide towards each other. Nice. 2 more breaths. Wherever left hand is, bring it back. And inhale is gonna lift us up, unweave. Let's stack and open. So open to the right. Take an extra breath in here. Exhale, bring in both hands back to the mat, both your knees under your hips if they're not. And then inhale, we'll bring that left arm up and out to the side. Exhaling it to weave it behind the right and hover. Inhale to lift up, stack your shoulders, open your heart. Exhale, bring it down, weave behind and hover. Inhaling to lift up, stack and open. Exhale, bring it down, weave and hover, take a breath in. Exhale that left shoulder, left cheek to the earth. Do what you wish with your right arm. Let your shoulder blades slide towards each other. Nice big breaths. And 2 more breaths. Wherever our right hand is at, we need to bring it back. Inhaling to lift up, unweave. Stack and open, take an extra breath in. Exhaling both hands, come back to our mat, both knees under our hips, tuck our toes. Breath in, breath out gets us up and back to our down dog again. Hips high, hips back. Remember, our legs don't have to be straight here. In fact, if we have tight hamstrings, it's really, really better to keep the knees bent and let there be that neutral spine. So it's got that lumbar curve instead of like having to arch the back. Awesome. Take 2 more breaths. And then we'll walk our hands back to our feet. Your knees can bend as much as they need. Meeting, of course, in forward fold, your chin tucked in, your knees bent so your belly's resting on the thighs, protecting lower back. And then straightening legs as long as your belly stays connected. Good, nice big breaths. Inhaling to come halfway, create your flat back, reach forward with the crown of your head. We're gonna hold this a couple of breaths, imagining that we're pushing the thigh bones back in the hip sockets. Good, to come up, let's just walk our hands up our thighs so we can unhinge our hips. Awesome. Once you're up, close your eyes again. Find your mountain pose. You're checking back into that place where it's just you. It's your experience, that inner workings of your own mind, of your own body. These things very often are not known by others. It's your experience in this world. Most everything is subjective, right? The way you perceive, interpret. Good. If you want, you'll open the eyes again. We're going to step forward with our right foot. I would say it's not quite as forward as a warrior. We're setting up for pyramid. So your back foot is more like a 45-degree angle. Your feet are hip distance apart, and then you're going to square those hips over your front foot. If we want to add our shoulders here, let's either come to reverse prayer in the back or fist to fist, or weave the fingers together. Roll the shoulders way back so your heart's lifting. Either way, you're doing that. Take a breath in. With your exhale, hinge at your hips over that front leg. Your hips are going to stay square with the front of your mat. And maybe, just maybe, those arms lift up if your fingers are weaved, or they stay right there in your fist to fist or reversed prayer. But your shoulders are back and down, they're away from those ears. Good. Notice that you've got your weight balanced front to back in those legs, equally distributed. If your arms are up, bring them down. Using an inhale, let's lift our torso. Awesome. Bring that front foot back and step forward with your left. And again, your hip distance apart, your back foot is probably about a 45-degree angle. You're squaring those hips to the front of your mat, rolling shoulders back, lifting your heart, taking a breath in, exhaling to hinge. And trying to maintain that flat back, the hips still square, equal weight from front foot to back foot. Nice big breaths. Nice if your arms are up, allow them to lower. Inhaling, we'll bring our torso up. Exhaling to bring that front foot back. Both feet are under our hips. Undo your arms, shake them out. And then we'll step forward, right foot again. This time a big step like you're setting up. Let's set up for a warrior two. And so a lot of the times in warrior two, people want to have their back foot parallel with the back edge of their mat. And for some of us, that's okay, our hips will allow it. But for most of us, we have to have more of that 45 angle again, just so we can bend that front knee and sink into the lunge, especially if we're going to shift it to warrior one, which we're going to. So find your warrior two. Arms can be up, they can be at your hips, wherever you wish. Let's take a breath in. And then exhale, shift your hips, your shoulders towards the front. Warrior one. Yeah, if you've got your arms, they're up. Your front knee is bent, and you're going to push down with the outside edge of your back foot. Awesome. Breath in. Breath out, shift it to warrior two. Awesome. Watch that front knee. A lot of the time it wants to follow when you shift your hips. Breath in. Breath out, come back. Warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, bring it warrior two. This time, straighten your front leg, hinge at that front hip, find your triangle. Stack your shoulders, note that your neck is just neutral. Or I suppose you could turn and look at those top fingers. Good, pull your belly in. Imagine that the underside of your torso, so it's like the right side of your torso, is lifting away from the earth. Micro bend to the front knee. Inhale, come back. Warrior two, sink into that lunge. Back hand to the back thigh, front palm to the ceiling. Lift that arm up and gently rock it back, reverse triangle. Straighten that front leg if you want. That's officially reverse triangle. Good, bend that front knee again. Find your way back to warrior two. Breath in, breath out. You'll cartwheel your torso down, roll to the toes of the back foot, and stay here for just a second. Back thigh high, back heel right over top of your back toes. Nice big breath. Some of us are going to choose to drop our knee. Others of us will keep the knee up in the back, but all of us will bring the right hand to the right knee and let our shoulders twist towards the right. Your hips are going to stay steady though, whether knee is up or down. Maybe your right arm lifts to the ceiling. Good, make sure your hips are still square. Awesome, if arm is up, bring arm back to the knee, untwist your torso. If your back knee is down, bring it up. And let's turn that back foot, plant it again. And inhale up to warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Awesome. Bend that front knee again. Let this lunge just work in our thighs like crazy. And we want it to be. Good deal. Breath in. We're going to switch it to warrior two, or warrior one, I mean. Let those arms lift up. And then just for the heck of it, let's roll to the toes of the back foot and let this be our high lunge. Nice job. Good, we're going to hop our back foot forward. So hands can stay up or they can come down. But hop that back forward and meet with both feet under our hips. Good, drop your arms, close your eyes. Find your breath. Inhaling to the count of 4. Pausing and exhaling. Inhaling. Pausing and exhaling. One more breath. Eyes opened or closed. Use an inhale, let your arms lift up. And exhale to bend the knees, hinge the hips, find your forward fold, chin in. Notice if there happens to be a difference between the right leg and left leg right here. Right hip, left hip. Nice big breath. Inhale to come halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step your feet back, plank high or low, whichever. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows all the way to the earth. Inhale to find your cobra. Exhale, up and back, down dog. Nice big breaths. Hips high, hips back, armpits up. With an inhale, you'll walk your hands back to your feet. Find your forward fold. Inhale halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. This time, bend your knees, arms out like giant wings so you can inhale, come all the way up. Hands together, down to heart. Drop your arms beside you, close your eyes. Find your breath. Let it draw your square. And eyes opening. You're stepping forward, left foot, finding warrior two. So it's quite a big step. Your back foot is probably like at a 45-degree angle, just so you can be pivoting those hips. Arms up, arms at your hips, whatever you wish. Check out that front knee. It's right over top of those ankles and right in line with your toes. Let's inhale. Exhale, bring it around to warrior one. Inhale. Exhale back, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, warrior one. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Good. One more time. Warrior one. And warrior two. Good. You're straightening your front leg, hinging at that front hip, moving it to triangle. Your shoulders are stacked. If it doesn't feel good for your shoulder to have that arm up, bring it to the hip. And remember, this underside of your torso, so now it's the left side of your torso, is lifting like up and away from the ground. Awesome. Micro bend in that front knee. Inhale to come back up. It's warrior two. You're bringing your back hand to your back thigh, flipping your front palm to the ceiling, then letting that arm lift straight up. And it's gonna rock you into reverse triangle, which technically you straighten that front leg as well. Nice job. One more breath. Your front knee will bend. You'll move back. Warrior two. Take a breath in. Exhale to cartwheel down, toes of the back foot. We're hanging out in our high lunge for a sec. Back heel right over top of those back toes, back thigh high. Choosing to drop the knee or not, but bringing left hand to the left knee, taking a breath in, exhaling to twist those shoulders to the left. Maybe your top arm lifts to the ceiling. Nice job. Your hips, they're as square with the front of your mat as ever. If top arm is up, use an exhale, bring it down. We'll all untwist our torso. Let's see, where did we go? We went back to plank. So I think that we need to drop the knee or just swing that foot back. You're in plank, high or low. This is not what we did. We went to forward fold and then here, but we're skipping it, I guess. Breath in, breath out, bends our elbows, lowers us to the earth. Inhaling to cobra and exhaling to down dog. Hips high, hips back. Nice big breaths. Inhaling, hands walk back to our feet. We meet in forward fold, chin in. Let's get our fingertips then under our toes or the balls of our feet. And you can gently use those arms to pull your chest towards your thighs just a tiny bit more. Remember, knees stay bent. Keeping those fingers tucked. Inhale like you're gonna come halfway up. Good, and so you're just holding it. This is gorilla. Take another breath in. Use your exhale, forward fold. We're gonna come back up to gorilla, so fingers are tucked. Inhale halfway. Breath in, breath out, forward fold, chin tucked in. Untuck your toes. Bend your knees, arms out like giant wings. Let's inhale to come all the way up. Arms up. Exhale, hands together, down through heart. Drop them all the way down beside you. Shoulders back, your eyes closed. Tuning right back into your own inner subjective experience. Good, eyes open. Use an inhale, lift up, and exhale to fold. Inhale halfway, exhale fold. Plant your hands, walk your hands forward into plank, high or low. We'll take a breath in plank. Use our exhale, lower to the earth. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, come up and back to down dog. Take a couple big breaths. And then we're gonna play with this, just with balance. We're gonna see what happens if we lift our right arm. And it might just be like fingertips touch the earth, but see if you can balance here mostly by the work of your left arm and shoulder. If that feels okay, you might see what happens if you come to the tippy toes of your left foot. So it's like opposite hand and foot up. And it's super tricky. Good, you'll plant both of those. Find your down dog. Then do just your left arm up, or even fingertips, so that right shoulder, right arm is supporting most of you. If that's okay, you'll play with right foot up, so opposite arm and foot. Good, both hands, both feet back to your earth. Nice big breath. Breath in, breath out to drop those knees, send your butt back towards your heels. Find your child's pose. And shoulders might be relaxed, or the arms might keep pushing your butt back towards your heels. Again, it's your body, it's your experience, which means only you actually know what it is that you're needing this morning. One more breath. An inhale is going to pull us to tabletop. Crawl forward on your mat so you can swing your feet to the side or roll over, however you get to your butt. We're going to meet on our butt. From our butt, let's do one staff pose. So legs out straight in front. And let's get really nice and long through the torso, roll our shoulders back, and then hinge at our hips. And for today, let's let our core be engaged, but our back body bend. And so some of you I know reach clear to your toes. Others of us might just tuck our hands under the back of our legs. Our chin will tuck in, and with our core engaged, we're gonna let our back body curl, like our heart and our forehead are reaching towards our legs. Finding our breath, that 4 count, or square breath. And see what happens if you relax the legs, or if your legs were already relaxed, pull the toes towards your shin. And just notice the difference here. I'm going to stay here for several more breaths. Just like our forward fold when we're standing. Good. 2 more breaths. To get out of this, come up first to a flat back, and then unhinge your hips. Come all the way up. Nice, you're far enough forward on your mat that you have room to lie down. Let's bring our hands behind us. And let's bend our knees and let our knees lower up. Just rock, do that windshield wiper a little side to side. When you're ready, you'll move it to your forearms. And we're just doing it in parts, just so we can feel the difference from when we're seated to when we're on our forearms. And then eventually we'll move from our forearms all the way down to our back body, where again, we'll notice the difference in the way that it feels. Just letting your knees go back and forth, side to side. If your lower back is tender, I would invite you to slide your knees and your feet all the way together so that they're touching. It means they can't go from side to side as deeply. It just protects that lower back. Wherever your shoulders are at, you might wiggle them, tuck the shoulder blades just so they get a relax. Also, our knees will pause on the middle. Bring that right knee in towards your torso, hands to your knee. Give it a hug in. Your left leg might straighten. We're going to straighten the right leg, let our hands wrap around that thigh, just so there's support, and then point and flex our foot. So just to the ceiling, to the shin. Roll the ankle. Of course, if we roll it one way, we want to roll it the other way. And pull those toes of the right foot, really pull them towards the shin. And for me, what happens just with this, even though I've got my leg supported, my leg is shaking. And what I know is it's stretching my hamstring. Good, we'll bend that knee. Give it a hug in towards your torso again. Maybe even rock it or circle it around in that hip socket. A breath in and a breath out brings your right foot to the earth. Left one comes up and in. Hands to the knee, giving it a squeeze towards you. Maybe right leg straightens if you want that kind of traditional wind reliever. And then you'll straighten the left leg, let your hands wrap around the thigh so it's got support. Just flexing and pointing your toes. Rolling your ankle. Making sure you roll it both ways. Meeting back with our toes pulling towards our shin. Breath in, breath out bends the knee, brings the hand back to the knee so you can hug in or wiggle that thigh bone around in the hip socket or figure eight it, whatever you want to do. Breath in, breath out. Let's go with that foot. So both of our feet are on the ground, both knees bent if they're not. Let your knees move together and let your feet heel toe out and apart. So your knees are coming together. I can't remember what people call that, like knocked knees. I think of snow plowing and skiing. You're snow plowing. In your snow plow, you're going to try to soften your hips, soften your pelvic floor. Of course, your shoulders are still soft. And then our right knee is just going to move up towards like the ceiling. Your feet stay on the ground, but that knee moves out of the middle enough that you can push that left knee down towards the ground in the middle. And then that left knee moves up and out of the way so that you can push your right knee down towards the ground in the middle. Same thing, right knee out of the way, left knee can push down. You're just going to go from side to side. Maybe you stay in one of these positions for a breath or two. Let's do one more time on each side. And then meet with both of our knees back in the middle, like back to that snow plow. Heel toe your feet back so they're hip distance apart. Scooch your butt towards your heels again. And then pull both your knees up and in, your hands to your knees, hugging them to you so you can rock side to side. Or if you're a happy baby person, you're reaching for the feet. The soles of your feet will move to the ceiling. Your knees move towards your armpit. Either way, your sacrum stays on the ground, that bony flat spot on the back of your butt. So if there's anything else that you know your body appreciates, I'm definitely inviting and encouraging you to go there. I think the last thing we'll do is a togetherness. It will be a spinal twist, because it seems really nice to end our practice that way. So when you're ready, you can drop the arms out like a giant T. If lower back is tender, I would encourage you to drop your feet down to the ground before you let your knees drop out and over to the right. And wherever you're at here, you want to try to allow the left shoulder to stay grounded. Maybe you connect with breath again, that 4 count square breath. We're coming back to the middle. Top knee is usually our leader, bottom knee follows. Maybe your legs squeeze back in towards your torso, hands to the knees. You could rock it a little side to side, like you're releasing or realigning the spine from that twist. Arms back out, giant T, dropping your feet to the earth if you wish first, but then allowing the knees to drop towards the left. Right shoulder stays grounded. You find your breath. It's funny, the word find, like it's lost. Sometimes we seem to lose our breath. By purposely finding it, we reground, recenter. When finding our breath, we regulate our nervous system. There's so much about that breath that serves us well to stay connected to. Good, next inhale, bring your knees back to the middle. Bring them back in towards the torso, hands to the knees, just so you can rock just a little bit more. Circle the knees, let that spine realign from your twist. Eventually, you'll make your way to corpse pose. If lower back isn't happy with legs out and straight, you know, keep them bent. You'll do your own little leg lengthener, which is just to reach your heel as far as you can down and then let the feet roll out and open. Your shoulders relaxed, shoulder blades even tucked. And of course, eyes closed. You're in your own space, or a space that you're really familiar with. Judy at Linda's, good friends where their homes are nearly as comfy as our own. In this space, we can readily relax. Letting our faces soften, our shoulders, of course the arms relax, down through your belly, your back body, down through your hips and your butt, all the way down your legs to your feet. Just relaxing from top to bottom. Sometimes it takes a couple brushes from top to bottom, like you're just moving awareness down your body in order to relax it. Once our bodies are relaxed, our practice returns to just that of the mind. Working with our mind is hard. I think for most of us, it's so much easier to be able to move the body rather than to be still with our own thoughts and our own feelings. As your body rests this morning and your mind likely moves, I invite you to direct that movement towards gratitude. Perhaps in your headspace, you identify something this morning that you are grateful for. If there's a lot of cruddiness going on right now in your world, it might be really hard to find something that you're grateful for, but see if you can find just one flower in the midst of those weeds. Maybe if you find one flower, you see another, maybe another. Maybe there's several little things to be grateful for. Knowing that purposely practicing gratitude is an evidence-based practice, actually, that is very much connected to a happier and healthier mind and body. So gather your flowers, those things that you have identified, those things that you're grateful for. You imagine they're like a little bouquet and you've got them held. Maybe you didn't even pick them. Maybe you let those flowers stay, but you see them. Come back to your breath. Breathing into the count of 4. Pausing to the count of 4. And then exhaling, count of 4. Pause at the bottom of the breath and do it again. One more breath. Your fingers then will wiggle, and so will your toes. Maybe Maybe your head moves a little side to side. When you're ready, you'll bend the knees. Let your hips shift one way or another so that you can roll to the side body. Eventually, your hands and your arms will push your way up, just so you can come back to that comfortable seat. Your eyes closed when you get there. Maybe acknowledge where you've been this morning, the journey that your practice takes you on. Your palms will come together, your thumbs tucking right at the heart, maybe chin bowing towards the head. Gratitude from me towards you for sharing this morning, sharing this practice, and sharing this life together. Namaste.